writers plus plus. So we are all we are technical writers or content writers, information developers, whatever we want to call ourselves. But there are there are a plethora of documents that we develop, from policies, training materials, white papers, and then there are multiple skills that we possess, and there is a lot of cross-functional collaboration that we do. Now, why I have kept this here is I would like to get your understanding. Anyone from marketing here? Good. So, except the two of them, can any of you tell me what are some of the market-facing technical documents? Like things that can go on the website, that can be published, that's sorry? Yes? Flyers, white papers, e-books, newsletters. Very good. Very intelligent punch. Okay. So that's exactly what I was looking for, and that's exactly what I develop on a day-to-day basis. Okay, so this is just boilerplate stuff. I'm pretty sure all of you know, but I just wanted to keep it there. Okay. Now this slide is important because this is where I see the division between technical documentation and marketing documentation. So when we take software documentation, there are a lot of things that go into it, but these three are the three important characteristics that I see as key for technical documentation. That is, it is a single source of truth, it has detailed information, it's highly technical in nature, and then it's complete, right? But on the other side, marketing documentation, it brings visibility to your product, it persuades your user to actually buy or make a decision, and then there is an emotional engagement. So when you're writing for the market, you have to literally connect with your buyer persona, and then it also enables decision making. So between these two, between the technical documentation and the marketing assets, there is a compelling case to create a narrative and create marketing documentation that is user friendly, that's technical, that's easy to understand, and that can also influence a buying decision. Okay? So at every stage of the marketing funnel, I don't want to go deep into marketing, but in marketing there is different stages of the funnel, right? There's awareness, there's consideration, there's strategy, and there's conversion. So at every stage, these documents make an impact. Okay. Now, why is this technical accuracy important in marketing assets? One, products have evolved over time. It's no more legacy products. A lot of cloud migration has happened. So your user needs have changed. The way users consume information has changed. So there is a need for that technical accuracy to be present across marketing documents. Second, beyond traditional manuals, information is also available across different channels. There are videos, there are tutorials, there are gamification on websites. So all these are all beyond the traditional manuals that convey the technical information to your audience. And then, like I said, it's not just information, it influences the buying decision. And then when those marketing assets or the marketing documents that we create, it aligns with the business goals, it definitely has a bottom line influence. So when I say bottom line, it's the revenue influence. So the takeaway is technical rigor, that is technical accuracy, combined with storytelling. So when I say storytelling, it's not just taking the technical information out of the market, right? You need to understand what are the pain points. You need to develop a story, and that story should then connect to your product or solution as to what problem it's solving for the end user. And then when you combine both, it adds more credibility to the documents. So every white paper, every ebook, every solution brief, data sheet, so it is beyond brand visibility. So earlier marketing used to be about brand visibility, it used to be about engagement, but today it is more about getting the right information out there and influencing decisions. Okay. Now the process. The process for creating marketing assets is very similar to creating software documentation. I've just listed down the important steps. So there is a stage where I connect with the product managers, I interact with the engineering teams, I get the briefs from them. So it's, did I stress something?
No, not from there. Power laptop is not projector is not.
Any questions so far? Up to what I've covered till now, till the technical. Yes.
Actually collaborate with
Technical writers.
Switch it on.
Yeah, I input communicate. So, for example, we have a quarterly newsletter that goes out, right? The newsletter that I work on is like highly technical, it's aligned with the product release cycle. So, and this newsletter goes out to existing customers. So, I cannot release the newsletter unless I get a sign off from the product team that it's generally available. So, I need to have that monthly connect with the product documentation team as well. I need to get inputs from them. I need to make sure that the release notes go out before my newsletter goes out. Right? So that kind of a cadence is there.
I was thinking about perspective. Now, as a marketing person, you have a little more insight into customer needs
Right.
and proprietary.
Right.
So, is there that kind of exchange whereas when they give you technical accuracy and you give them is there that kind
So you're asking about customer feedback, right? Getting the feedback from the customer and then communicating it.
Yes, and also your understanding of the customer.
Right. So we don't interact directly with the customers. So there is a customer success team for that. So they take in the inputs from the customers and we get briefs from the customer success. So we don't interact directly with the customers. We just do the outbound communication. The inbound happens through the customer success team, and they probably will communicate it back to the product team.
Yeah, we are good.
Okay, so I was in the process stage. So just like any software documentation, I need to understand the brief. So I have my regular connects with the product team, with the engineering team, and like I was telling, I also interact with the customer success team, like the account managers who actually talk to the clients. So we have regular connects with them. So that helps us write the case studies. So the understanding the brief is the first step. So while I understand the brief, I start doing my research. So when I say research, just like any other documentation process, I also work on the software. So I do my own bit of UAT. I try to work and see how the software actually works. I have to do ICP. ICP is ideal customer profile. So I need to identify who's going to read my document. So that kind of a research I will do. And then I'll come up with a draft. So in draft, I've also given design. So draft is not just about writing the content, it's also about structuring the content. So you might have seen data sheets, you might have seen case studies, solution briefs. So the structure for every document is not the same. There will be a difference in how a newsletter is written versus how a data sheet is written versus how a solution brief is written. The approach is different for each document. Although we say all of these together put together are marketing assets, the way they are structured is different. The problem that each of these documents solve is different. The person who's going to consume each of these is also different. So there needs to be a design and structure for each of these, which also I work with closely with the designers. And then of course the review cycles happen. So again the reviews, I have to get reviews from the product team as well as from the marketing team. So there's like 2-3 rounds of reviews, proofread, and then like any other document, there's version control and management. So the bottom line is turning technical content into compelling stories. Now we saw the how. Now how well that needs to be done. So to create that compelling stories, right, for that storytelling narrative to happen, what is needed? Like what is the approach that I take? Balancing precision with accessibility. Like I said, right, these documents, we say they are market facing, right? But how accessible are they? Are they available on the website? Are they going to be used for training? Is it going to be used for sales enablement? So that kind of accessibility needs to be there with every document, combined with being precisely and technically accurate. Okay, and like I said, the target audience for every document is different. So I need to identify who the target audience is and adapt the tone of the document that. And then illustrations, so someone has already talked about infographics. So those kind of illustrations, videos and all come in very handy for marketing documents as well. And then feedback. So feedback is again something that people have already spoken about. So in marketing, the feedback that we take into consideration is asset downloads, like how many assets get downloads, the clicks on website. So which are the blogs that are getting read more, which are the assets that are getting downloaded more, the heat map that someone showed. The same thing is applicable on the website also. So all those are iterative feedback steps we take to develop the document. So we get an understanding of which documents get read more, and based on that we can improve. So I've just given a small difference again, like mostly ChatGPT generated, but just wanted to show like the difference between technical documentation and marketing collaterals on a high level. Since I work in the CCAS space, I've just taken that example. So for a technical documentation, this is probably the style that is getting written in. What is the CCAS platform, the overview of it? Like there are some technical details, what it does, what are the integrations, architecture, etc. Now the same thing, when it has to go out to the market, it cannot go like that. People will, they might understand it, but the idea is to convert it into a user-friendly language. And for that, you have to start with what is the value proposition of that product, right? So you start off with what it does, and then you go to say how it does. So I don't want to read it, but you can just notice the difference in the way that it's written. It's the same information, right? But the way it's written is slightly different. Okay. Can I go next? Okay. So at the end of the day, content matters. Someone mentioned already content is king, so same thing. Content matters, whether it's marketing or software documentation. So it needs to align with the company's business objectives. The content effectiveness needs to be measured over time. Iterative feedback is important. And then for marketing, since branding is important, all these assets that I mentioned, right, every market-facing asset needs to be consistent. So where I envision the future of technical documentation in marketing is more than content writers or copywriters or proofreaders, there has to be content experience teams, right? So the user experience or the user needs have changed. The way information is getting consumed on a day-to-day basis is changing. Like we have evolved from reading long-form content to watching short videos. People want text that is easily consumable. You need to understand things faster. So for that user experience to improve, there needs to be content experience teams. Understand what the user actually needs, and then develop content based on that. That's any questions?
Nice comparison.
I used to be a technical writer, and it's been like almost a year and a half now I've been into marketing as well. So you mentioned something about content being different and how we are going to consume it. Right. We all know very clearly that there's a very short attention span happening right now. People are not having the patience to actually look into a technical document entirely and actually review it. So we do need a video or a reel or something. People have very short attention span. But when it comes to technical data, it needs that amount of patience and it needs that amount of understanding. How does marketing really address that?
That's what I mentioned, right? There are different stages in the marketing funnel, right? There is awareness, there's consideration, and then there's a buying stage. So at every stage, we need to analyze which is the audience that's going to consume the document. So at the awareness stage, we probably want to educate them with not about a product but what's happening in the industry. You give them industry trends. Then you caught their attention, right? They are aware that this problem actually exists and they need something for it. And then you go about saying, yes, the problem exists, there is a pain point, we have a solution. So that's when they start considering. And the third stage is to actually pitch your product. So for every stage, there are different forms of assets that we use, whether it's for using email marketing or social media. So that I see that customer profiling becomes important. So yeah, like you said, we are slowly moving away from long form since I wrote an ebook. So people want shorter things, like they want brochures or maybe a one-pager is all they need at this point, right, to actually pitch a product. So we are at that stage. Yeah, short form content is kicking in. Like big.
Great. Swarna?
Thank you, Harry.
I work with the same company. So I just got so usually when we send out emails, there is very mediocre. Let's say the subject is embrace the cloud or something that's very obviously ChatGPT, right? And if that's information, that's it. Because that's the email that performs the test. And then there are other emails that it has the information. It's human being. But then it doesn't perform that. Can I know why that is?
I'm not big into Dimanjan or LinkedIn, so I don't know the nuances of that. But as far as I write emails for campaigns. But as far as I know, yes, AI generated content does work. The filter, like obviously the spam filters are detected, so that is a big no. But another thing is, if you're adding links to your emails, I think that is also not working these days. So it has to be like probably more text, or not more text, but avoid links, and then give them a direct CTA. Reply to this email. Would this time slot work for you? Things like that actually work. So that's things that I got from my team, but again, I'm not big into